Good evening, all of our beautiful friends, light beings, all beings of the light, present physically and otherwise. Tonight, we will be doing a segment on the galactic family of light and seeing the unseen materialize in front of your physical eyes is an experience that is available to anyone. Just like anything in life, it can be uplifting and heart-centered, and on the other hand, it can be also be repelling or unwanted, depending on the experience. Learn how to align with the experience you prefer, but understanding how you must be aligned energetically, mentally, emotionally, in all ways to allow such contact with the unseen energetic world of spirit beings of all types, but tonight specifically addressing galactic aliens and star beings. So join us tonight as we share our personal experiences and insight. And Homer.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for your name. Okay, and my name is Homer Castillo. And if you would like a free mini light activation healing, just type in the chat room, I'm all in, and we will go through the chat room and select randomly.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
Cindy Eyler, and Homer already introduced himself. Welcome. We're just a little bit shifting in these high frequencies
We
right
can feel them already
now. I've been feeling them all day.
all day.
So, yeah, it's a wonderful topic, experience, and so much can be had when you are open to experiencing things. But with everything, you have to remember that when you open yourself to things that maybe you aren't familiar with, or maybe you are familiar with, but when you open a door, how are you opening that door and what is going to come in? And I'm going to give a story of something that was beautiful that came in and something that was something I didn't want to come in. So, it's a mixed box of everything, but you have to know how to deal with it if you don't want it, and what to do if you do want it. So before we start digging into our experiences, Homer wants to share something that is something that he talks about a lot. And I just felt, and he felt, that it would be really important to start the segment by letting people know these different aspects of the diversity of the different kinds of, this is in the spirit world as a whole and in the human world, in any situation, physical or non-physical. That's really important to keep in mind. And before we go into that, I want to remind you that to please like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment. All those things really help, and we really appreciate your help with doing that part for us. So,
And I'm trying to go in the chat room. Oh, and I will in a second, but yes.
Why don't you go ahead and share your message that has been something that is always something you bring in no matter what.
That I hear all the time. So what I love about the star people is the diversity that's out there. I do belong to a UFO meetup group, and I would hear the members over the years bring up, um, you know, maybe common star people that people associate aliens to be, or what aliens look like. So a lot of the common things I would hear is about the grays and the reptilians. Um, Sometimes they are spoken in a negative fashion, in a negative way, but I would always bring it up like, what gray race are you speaking of, or what reptilian race are you speaking of? Because even within those categories, there's a whole bunch of different ones. It's very diverse. So which ones? Because even the gray race, for example, many of them do look alike, but vibrationally, they can be different also. And even within
What do you mean by different?
difference, You can feel it. Well, for me, I can feel it spiritually. So it's like a spiritual
But what are you
vibration.
feeling? You're not saying what you're talking about. What do you mean different? So if
Uh,
somebody says, oh, every time they bring up the Greys, or every time they bring up the what is the reptilians,
reptilians. Hmm.
and they always refer, if they bring it up and they're one of the people that always refer to them as being something negative,
Yeah. Hmm.
what are you saying?
Well, okay. And I can only speak of my experience. So the grays that I work with, for example, the Kirantali, they are very benevolent. They focus on healing. They are very peaceful. So those are the grays that I work with, among others. So for me, it's just that's the feeling I was speaking of, just the vibration. But there are others too of that may look similar, but there's like a different. It's kind of like with animals and different scents. For example, you could for another animal, they could tell the difference.
Right. So basically, you're saying just because sometimes people think that Greys or reptilians, for instance, there's a lot of
Mhm.
other, um, what do you call them? Races
Races, yeah.
that might have a negative connotation to them. So you're
Yes, and
saying that some of them can be bad and some
mhm.
of them can be good.
Yes, so just like even the human race, can you say that everyone's on the same spiritual level or awareness level? Even within our human race, there's a difference as well. So
As far
even
as,
within
but not even spiritual, kindness, maybe,
kindness, yeah, exactly. Awareness,
evil, evil, loving.
yes.
So talking
Uh,
about all the levels of how people present themselves, some
mhm.
of them are full of love and light, and some of them are full of darkness and hate.
Exactly. And you know that saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes the ones, in my case, in my experience, even the ones that look in the human mind menacing or intimidating, for me, I found them the opposite, more like humorous, loving, funny and spiritual. And sometimes even the ones that are most beautiful can be also of lower vibration. So it's really, you do not use your physical eyes, if you do have physical eyes out there, to judge a book by its cover. Really tap into the vibration. Um, your intuition, what resonates with you. Does it feel high vibration? Does it feel low vibration? Is this a being that I could connect with, or is this a being that I should stay away from?
Right. Just like as if somebody came in and they were really beautiful,
Hmm.
and then somebody came in and they were, not that they weren't beautiful, but maybe they were, just plain, not plain, but just didn't wear makeup, just came natural. And and you think, and people would look at that one that has herself all together, like,
Hmm.
oh wow, well, she must be something, but she might be the biggest mess inside.
Exactly.
And often when people, not everyone obviously, but a lot of times when people are like all totally put together and everything, they're doing that to make up for the insecurity they feel about themselves inside. They might think they're ugly. So they do their best to look like they could fix everything. I get a nose job, I get an eye job, I put on my
Mhm.
makeup, I'll do my hair, I'll wear a wig, whatever. And so, just because they look all wonderful doesn't mean necessarily that their energy is matching that.
And
So,
that's why it's a skill to develop within you is discernment, because many star people too know how to shift their physical form. So it's knowing how to see through that mask, or the disguise, or the sh- um, the image that they're trying to portray. Just trying to use your intuition to see beyond that.
and be careful about what you read and what you hear, And, I always say, no matter where I am, what I'm talking about, who I'm talking to, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just simply sharing my experience and what I feel is true, what I've heard in my downloads and channelings, and I've had a lot of experiences for a long time, and so I share that only to bring awareness and help other people. But you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. I'm never trying to make anybody believe the way I believe. You should believe the way that's right for you. But I will also say, just because somebody, wrote a book, or somebody has an opinion about it, or thinks that they're really experienced, that doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to resonate with you. And you shouldn't believe people just based on, well, they know more than I do, so I'm going to take on all of their beliefs. No, it's okay to read things and say, whoa, really? And, I'll just sit with that I don't have to choose to believe it or not believe it. I can just sit with it and see what happens on my journey. And then what will happen is, as you are really clear about who you want to communicate with, or learn about, or have experiences with, then you're opening those doors for these beings to communicate and have experiences with you. So that part, you do want to be as clear as you can about it. Like, you don't want to just say open to anything coming in. I remember, well, I'll tell that story later, but it's like, you want to at least set the premise, the standard, so you don't open the barn door to anything, because you might get some things you don't want. So you should be at least clear about that if you're going to play in those realms. So,
and I do have to agree with you. There are people that publish a lot of books or write a lot of articles, and I always say, just because a person is very loud with what they're trying to say doesn't mean they're
or
the
popular.
most, or the popular doesn't mean they're the most knowledgeable in terms of galactic knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that.
It's true, because, and especially if it's fear-based or a lot of negativity, I would automatically, not to say don't, have some discernment, but I would, if somebody was using a lot of fear-based and talking about that, rather than focusing on what is light and bright and ascension and that kind of thing, like if it's not aiming towards bettering anything, rather it's aiming towards fear and drama and chaos, I would think twice about traveling that path. Because as long as you're in those dimensions of fear-based, bad, trauma, drama, chaos, as long as you travel in those pathways, that's what you're going to experience. Who wants to bring more of that? We have enough in our world to deal with
Exactly.
without bringing those kind of aliens into your life. So if you want to get into it, and you're seeing information written or given out that's a lot on those lines, I would think twice about following that person.
And you want to ask too, what spiritual level are they on? Because if they're on a certain dimension or a spiritual level and they're giving you information, it may be from at least probably for me and Cindy, a different dimension, and others too, a different
maybe
dimension.
They're not even on a spiritual level. Just because they talk about aliens doesn't mean they're on a spiritual level. And you don't have to be on a spiritual level either to deal with aliens. Spiritual has nothing to do with it. But if you are on your spiritual path and you're talking about raising your vibes and ascension, you want to be listening or focusing more on the messages of the light and of upliftment and of higher perceptions and perspectives. And once when we did the Deepak Chopra Expo, somebody, I'll never forget that. It's like the only question I remember that I was asked, because I always remember it. And
me too.
he said, what, why are the aliens here? What are they here to do? And I said, well, I can't speak for all aliens. I can only speak for the ones that we work with. And with light activation, the star consciousness, the collective consciousness of light beings that we work with are all about ascension. They're about helping you to release the lower vibrations and increase your higher vibrations in an effort to better your life, better your soul's journey, spiritual ascension, because they realize that the more that they can be in there helping us, that they can also, the more they can help us ascend, we ascend, they can ascend more. And this is another thing, like a side note, but it's totally irrelevant for this, is there's a lot of spiritual teachers that want to keep their teachings and keep the people that come to listen to them, keep them below them. Like they always want to be like above them and keep them below their level, and not teach them or empower them to grow and learn and raise their vibrations to whatever levels they possibly can attain, regardless of what that level is, right? And what that's really doing themselves a disservice, because if they keep everybody down, they're just keeping themselves down. So, it's always better to teach and uplift people so you can also be taught and be uplifted. So, those are just some perspectives and insights for you to recognize when you decide who you're going to follow, listen to, and learn from. Because if you, choose things that are just more in the, drama, chaos, fear-based stuff, that's just where you're going to sit. And that'll get you somewhere, but it'll keep you busy. But is that what you want? Maybe you do, that's nothing. Hey, if that's what people want to choose, then make sure you're choosing it because that's what you want. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Anything else you have to say about that, Homer?
Well, to add on to it, because a lot of people ask me, what about these aliens? What about those aliens? And when they would bring them up, it's of the lower vibration. But I would tell them, kind of like what you said, Cindy, well, my focus is on the ones of higher vibration and healing,
Right.
and of peace. That's who I focus on. I know there are so many out there, because
Of course, because we are in a existence where everything resides.
exactly,
We talk about this all the time.
and we are everyone is like beings of light energy, but we can take on whatever physical form that's needed according to the planet or dimension where they plan to reside in. So because a lot of my people, we are energy beings, but we can take on whatever form we need to according to what our assignment is. So if we need wings, we will have wings. If we need a fishtail, we would have a fishtail, things like that. Yeah, it's
So
very diverse.
yeah, so that's just I know that's a message that is dear to Homer's heart, because even when I bring up things of something that might be negative, especially when it's a race that has, all of the things that's known for its negativity.
Well, like what I was saying.
He'll say, well, but not all, and like, you don't need to tell me that, Homer. But you know what? The thing is, if there is, the fact is that there are negative ones too. Just like they're not all negative. Yes, there are negative ones.
And I always have to laugh because people would say, or at least from when, going to my meetings, I would hear, the reptilians are this, the grays are this, and it would be fear-based. And I would say, you know what, there are other sinister things beyond the grays and the reptilians that you
Right,
guys
but
don't know
Homer,
about.
you're
I
missing
don't know.
you're missing
But
my point right now. My
yeah,
point is, I'm glad that you stick up for that, but
yes,
you also have to acknowledge that there are some lower ones, and they can be
I
causing
do.
problems in your life. So
Yes.
don't belittle people who bring that if they're just like making a general statement, yes.
Mhm.
But if there is somebody that is having an issue with something, and there was somebody in one of our recent live streams that had posted something in YouTube, and I could feel what that person was
Yeah,
going
I mean,
through.
I get that
That
too.
was
I get
that
that.
was
Yeah.
real, and people do
Uh-huh.
have real, and they're desperate to get
Mhm.
out of those experiences. And
Mhm.
I feel really bad for people that are in that, because most of the time they've been
Mhm.
experiencing it for many years. And if you do that, you let it go on for way too long, then it's hard for that to get out. And these people are desperate for their lives back. I
Mhm.
can't count how many emails I get from people like that. They're
Mhm.
so desperate to get out of that dimension, out of that hold. So I understand the generality. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not okay.
No,
But
but I get what you're saying too, because I yeah.
when somebody truly has an issue, it's
Yeah.
not to say, hey, there's good ones too.
Mhm.
That's not appropriate. So you have to, look at every situation
Yeah, no, I
as
get that
well.
because I've had clients over the years too, where I had to deal with, you know, what they were experiencing, and it wasn't of high vibration. So I
Right.
get that. Yeah, I do know they're there.
Okay, so
Mhm.
tonight we're talking about aiming
Oh,
our focus on um, seeing galactic beings in the physical with your physical eyes. And so that can happen in some different ways. It can be that they just show up in the physical, it can be that they show up living in a human body. I have seen aliens in a human body, like living life as a human. They could show up as looking as light, but physical light, like you really see the light. We're not talking about clairvoyance here. It can be that they are being channeled through someone. And so maybe the person still looks like themselves, but they're making movements, and the way that they speak is different than their
yes.
normal. And
Mhm.
also, in the way that they move, they couldn't do that in their normal everyday
Mhm.
life. Like that's a physical seeing. And I'm going to talk about a story about that as well.
Mhm.
Um,
I got a story too.
Okay, so Homer, why don't you start with
Mhm.
what you're feeling guided to start with?
Okay, well, kind of what you just spoke of just a few seconds ago, because I also had a client and I spoke about it like on the show maybe a few months back. A client that physically was doing things that you wouldn't normally see a human do. Because I do work on clients, or at least I did at the time, clients in person, and I would see the client that I was working on. She would, once the healing would start, she would start physically doing um, things with her hands and her arms and with her legs. Her legs would swing back and forth. Um, her upper body would just incline like that while her legs would swing like this. Her mouth would open really wide while her fingers would touch all of her teeth. And physically, to see a human do that, I mean, she was able to sustain that position for a while. So to do that, I mean, maybe there are people that can hold up their abs like what she did, but she had done that for a while, and that was like a physical thing that I was seeing. Um, that was not of this earth.
Okay.
uh,
You also wanted to talk about, I know you've Homer had a lot of friends that are actual in the physical body that
mhm.
were alien.
Yes. So I've had, I mean, yes, I have had friends in human bodies that I've known in other worlds, but I would meet them up again in this lifetime as fellow humans. So I would, like my professor from college, she was of the same tribe that I'm from. And yeah, she would look human, but for me, it's the eyes are a giveaway. Her eyes were just really piercing and glowing. At least for me, I could see it, right? It's like when you know it, like, ah, there you go. It's one of my kind. It's that recognition, and the eyes are a giveaway. And that's how I'm able to also see it in alien animals that are here as well. So yeah, so I've had friends too. Many of them. I was always the youngest one of the group,
Where
but
did you meet them?
um, throughout, sometimes I would encounter them at a holistic fair, but we would have a connection like no other. It's like, aha, I see you, star sister. I see you, star brother. And I know a lot of us are star people anyway, but this is for me, and this is a word that I've mentioned before, navrtili, which means when old friends who have just met. So that is like one of the words that my people use, and it's one of those, that navrtili connection, that I do know you, and hello again. This time we are in human form.
Right.
So it's kind of like that.
So Allison asked, was it a momentary possession, or were they born like that and live like that?
I guess you're referring to the person I was doing the healing on?
No, your friends that
Oh, my
are
friends? No, it's like, it's their, kind of like me. It's who they are. It's their lifestyle. It's their essence.
right.
Yeah.
So I had a teacher once, and I knew she was definitely an alien in person, in human form.
Mhm.
And I remember wondering, because the way that she was, just the way she would, just the way she was. But then I remember, like, when I was pretty new to that class, I remember after class, she was like right near me, and I don't know, we both turned and looked at each other. It was like straight in the eyes, and I just saw right those eyes where it was like, I mean, it was just like, whoa. But normally the ones how I know has been that they have really black eyes. So and that may not be true for all, but that's just something that I would recognize. So when I have seen them, that's usually the trait that I would know, is just seeing those black eyes. So oh, Allison said yes, the lady that was touching her teeth.
And Bobby said, how do you handle that situation?
Which
Okay, which situation?
situation? Um, so Homer, the lady touching your teeth, you're a client.
Oh, my client. Well, of course, everything is done professionally. So I allowed her to, she was in the middle of a healing session. So I allowed her to do what she was guided to do. But of course, I was standing right there just to ensure safety, because she was on a massage table.
Right, but was it a
Uh,
momentary possession?
no, it was a momentary recognition. It's kind of like going back into um, another consciousness, or another awareness thing. I don't know how to describe it. It's like because I did ask her afterwards, did you know what you're doing? She said, I did. I said, do you remember doing that? And, you know, what memories do you have of it? She said, I felt so natural doing this. So it was like tapping into something that was within her, and her own experience on a different dimension.
Mm,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about, let's see, which one do I want to talk about first?
There's so many.
Well, there's three things I want to talk about. So, I've mentioned my long-term relationship that I had, and I was thinking about this topic last night. I always like put a lot of thought into, and I connect like what do I want to talk about, because the subject's so big, and I really want to have a focus in on what we're going for here. And I realized how much he served to introduce me to things. So when we first got together, he never spoke about anything spiritual. He never spoke about aliens or nothing at all, like nothing like that stuff. And I wasn't into it at first when we first got together. And then I really started getting very much into angels and stuff. And so then we talked about the underground people recently.
Mhm.
And so, I was talking about that. And then I had read this book that I mean, I really think it's a really great book to read, even though it's super old now and probably outdated. But it was a really eye-opening for me at that point, because I never thought about aliens. Like, I never thought about them. I never cared about them. Same thing about the pyramids. Never thought about them, never cared about them. It's the weirdest thing how I just never thought about it. Like, when you guys said, in that other one, like, why am I here? Never thought about that either. There's a lot of things I never thought about. And so anyway, I said, I found out that you could ask, you could invite the aliens or the underground people to come and live with you for a while. And I told him, hey, I invited them that they could come live here for a while. And he goes, please don't do that. And I'm like, why not? Like, I thought it was such a cool idea. And he's like, so then he tells me, so little by little, he started to like share these different things that he knew. It was like, he was totally had a lot of experience with aliens. He totally knew a lot about mantras, and he would go start chanting them. And I'd be like, what in the heck? Like, who is this guy? And he was like, he knew a lot of stuff, but I had no idea. And, so he said, well, he had a very wealthy friend that lived in Santa Barbara, and he used to stay there and help her work with her and stuff. And so they were basically they dealt with a lot of aliens down there. And basically they would show up at the door and just come to stay. And he goes, you don't know when they're going to show up. You don't know when they're going to leave. He's like, just don't do that, please. Like, you don't want to do that. And I was like, oh, I guess okay. I guess, like, I don't want him to show up and then never not go. Like, that would be weird. And so I was like, okay. And then also he was the one that, introduced me to crystals. And I was like, I don't care about those things. Like, what? He's like, yeah, like, we should put these around the house. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So it was, and it's so weird because if you knew me now, like, I have a lot of crystals, like, I'm a crystal freak. So, yeah, so that was all weird. And then when I got into the alien stuff, and he was starting to tell me, he'd go, I'd tell him stuff. I'd be really excited. I go, did you know this? Or then he goes, yep. And then he would tell me stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so freaky. And so he would laugh and stuff. So one time we had this friend that used to do these weekend, like, huge, come to his property in Willits, California, and camp on his property. And there would be like music all day and all night, not all night, but most of the day and night, and food and a lot of people. And it was just like a really cool, mellow hangout thing to do. And so we had gone a few times, and I don't know if it was the first time we went, I think. And it was at night, and we decided just to get away from people and just hike up on his property up on the hill. And so we were sitting out in the dark, under the moonlight, and just talking, whatever. And we're sitting there, and there's nothing around, no lights. And all of a sudden, I start seeing this light materializing right in front of me. And it was like maybe 6 feet, no, maybe 8 feet away. And it started, this light, and it started to grow. And then I could see like this, I describe it as a family of light. I actually drew a picture of it. I have a picture of this. And I could see them all, like, they had bodies, but it was all light.
Like a silhouette.
It was all light. It was bright light, but you could see the bodies inside. And so it was like a whole family. Like, I don't know if I had to guess how many, 15. And they were all just like standing together like that. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at this like, holy crap. And he's sitting next to me, and I go, do you see what I see? And he goes, yep. And I'm going, where? And he goes, right in front of us. And I go, what does it look like? Because I'm like, like, I'm thinking, he can't be seeing this. like a lot of light, like aliens, like a group of aliens in the light. And I'm like, yep, we're both seeing it. And they were just like, it was so beautiful, but it was so funny the way, like, I was like, do you see what I'm doing? Like, yeah. And he totally described it. And we just sat there looking at each other. And they didn't say anything. It was just like came for this visit. I'll never forget that. Like, I can feel the vibration now. Like, I'm going to send you guys that vibration of that family of light if you just can close your eyes and receive that, because I'm sure that they can be with everybody at the same time. So
I drew a lot of pictures like that too.
It
It
was amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to go to another experience.
Oh, Allison asked, how long did they stay visible?
Oh, man. I would say 10 minutes. And we just sat there and was just like, I mean, we were just sitting there like, you know what? It was not scary. It was kind of freaky, like, you know, I never expected that. But it was really cool because he saw it too, exactly as I was seeing it, you know, but it was just so funny, just like, you know, seeing it and then just saying, do you see what I see? And he's like, yep. And then it was just like so funny the way that all happened.
See, that's my kind of evening. I like evenings like
it was
that.
so awesome. And so, so then this other experience, so I had these friends and one of them would channel. She told me she would channel. And back in those days, I guess I really wasn't, you know, like I didn't know, like, how do you channel necessarily? And she was like, well, do you want to come? Because we were in Laguna Beach. And she said, I'm going to invite you to my room tonight. And I'm going to channel these, whatever, I forget what she called them, this consciousness. And she said it was one that was like a male energy, one that was like this goddess female energy, and one was a little kid, but they had names. And so I was like, oh, okay. So it was me and then this other woman. I don't know if somebody else was there, but I remember like me and this other woman went. And when she started doing the man first, I was like, it was kind of like, I did not like the vibe. Not that I don't feel like it was evil, but I was like, when it started and she started, you know, she like her neck, like she like took on like this really alien feel, and it was kind of freaky, right? And so I remember we were sitting on this bed and the woman that was with me, I kind of slunk behind her, like, you can be up there because this feels weird and it looks really weird. And I asked him, like, where are you from? And see, this was the turnoff to me. And he said he wasn't going to tell me because I wouldn't know where it was anyway. And I thought that was not an enlightened being, because they would normally want to tell you, even so you would learn about it, right? I don't know, maybe some like to hide things because sometimes Homer hides things. So I don't know if that's a trait, but I felt like, you know, they didn't, and I thought that was kind of a snarky answer too. Like, okay, well, I guess I won't ask any more questions because it doesn't sound like you're very open. And so, and then she switched to the woman, the goddess, and she became very like this alien sexy thing. Like she's like very sexy and
they can
very,
be
very elegant and very like totally.
They can be sensual.
Very, yeah,
Yeah.
very sensual, very different. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting chills now. They're probably here. And so then I was like, okay, you know, like this is just so weird. And then she went, I mean, she spent like probably 10 minutes each with each one. And then the last one was like this little kid. I guess it felt like a little boy. And this woman was older and she was bouncing up off her chair, cross-legged, like bouncing up and down and all over the place. Like that is not even like, she could not have done that normally. And that was kind of funny. I was like, okay. So I was really done with it. Like I didn't really like it. I didn't care to ever see that again with her. But that was just me. That's not a judgment. It's just how I didn't really resonate with me. And you know, it resonated with a lot of people because she does that for her, as I don't know if she still does it. We're not in contact anymore, but she was doing that for her work. She did a book and stuff. So you know, I guess it resonated with some people. It just didn't resonate with me. And I remember leaving her hotel room. We were staying in the same hotel, but I was walking back to my hotel room, and it was like across the parking lot. And I'm walking across the parking lot, and I could feel them right next to me. And I was not them, but similar. And I said, "Oh no, don't come with me. I am not interested in doing that. I don't want to do that." And so I hurried up and I got to my room, and I get in my room, and all of a sudden I turn and I look, and this whole huge light starts to materialize. Like it was huge, like whatever these beings were, they were huge. And I was like, oh my gosh, I started to like freak because I did not want it. And I didn't like that night. And I didn't like what I was feeling in the parking lot. And I certainly didn't want them materializing in my room where I'm going to sleep. And I said, oh no, this is not okay. I do not want to see you. Do not come in here. Do not materialize in my room. No, like I was very forceful, probably shitting some bricks at the same time. Because imagine, like, it was so big, and it was so like I was just seeing it. And I was like, just like afraid, like I didn't, because I didn't feel real comfortable with who she was channeling. I didn't know what this was that was coming in. And, you know, even if they were good, I was not in that frame of mind because I was just like, whatever was coming in, if it had anything to do with where I had just been, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And, you know, that hadn't happened until we just had that session. So I was obviously in some frequency where I could match the energy and see it. And so it stopped about halfway of the materializing. It stopped.
I wish I was there at that time.
That night, I was like, I couldn't sleep that night. I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing everything, crystals, incense, clearing the room, everything. And then the next day when I saw her, she's like, oh, I'm so sore. Gosh. I said, well, if I jumped around like that, I'd be sore too. Like, I don't even know how you did that. But yeah, I just, you know, that was just like, I just did not want anything to do with that. So those are just two really different experiences, but that they were truly materializing, and they can materialize for you if you start having some interest and open your energy to be available to that. And then if you're in the frequency, so remember, be choosy about what frequencies you hang out in, because in that case, I didn't want any of those beings in that frequency that she was dealing with. Maybe they weren't bad, but it wasn't resonating with me. I did not, you know, I clearly for sure did not want to have anything to do with that frequency.
Yep. Go with where you resonate.
Something about it didn't resonate with me.
Yep.
So that's enough for me. I don't need to know why. I don't need to know what. I just know that's not where I'm going. Now, that other one was gorgeous. That other one was beautiful. And so, yeah. Do you have any other stories, Homer, or should I share those pictures?
Well, didn't we see some in Sedona materialize in the room? Like,
oh, yeah.
The wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that. And then me and I saw them materializing when you were going into your spaceship.
Yeah, that too.
So I already told that story in the Sedona experiences.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and watch that one. So should I show those pictures?
Sure. Yeah.
So we had an angel camp. This was in 2007 in Mexico. We rented a luxury home, and it was a really great experience. And I remember one night we were sitting in the living room, and there was a swimming pool right outside the sliding glass doors, and right beyond the swimming pool was the sand and the ocean. And so beyond that was the moon, and the moon was so big that night, and it was shining right into our house. And I said, wow, look at the moon. It's shining right into the house. We should take some pictures. So we went out, and of course, Homer's all up for the pictures. And we were on, we were taking, I was taking the pictures, and I was on the house side of the pool. And on the other side of the pool is where people were standing to take pictures. And we were getting aliens in our pictures. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see, where is it?
And plus, we were in good energy. We were having fun. We felt light.
Right. Okay. Well, at that time, I don't know what we were doing, but so this was the one that was on the announcement. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And so Homer was wearing his crown, and it's amazing how it came straight into the tip of his crown, and his crown comes straight out like this, and then there's these
long feathers.
And it came straight in, and the other one came straight down. But look at the light going straight from his hand forward. And then this, can you guys see my thing moving around?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah. So you see all of this energy coming down through here, and there's an orb here.
Yeah, I didn't notice that before.
But see how the moon is shining that light? That's the ocean. And then he's on the other side of the pool. So I think Homer might have been the first one we got. And we're like, whoa, wait, we need to all take pictures. So this was...
and also the feel of it too. It felt very kind of like electrical in a way.
Right. So here's another woman, and look at this orb.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something here too. I don't know what that is, but
that looks kind of similar to like the Mayan, because we were in the Mayan area, but like a Mayan calendar or Mayan.
This is the group. So you can see the orb, and then these things coming down, but all of these beings in here. This is all beings in here. And then there's orbs like in the pool. Orbs here, beings here. There's a lot going on.
It was a busy evening.
Yes. And then this is Rick, and he has some orbs here, and then that light that comes down. And this is me. Totally engulfed.
You can't even see. Well, I haven't seen these in years. It's nice.
And there's some heads in here. There's a head.
Oh yeah.
A face. And there's one here. You can't even see me. I know what you mean. And then where's
and even in the pool too.
Wait, where's I want to find Diana. Hers was amazing. Where is she? Hey, where is she? That one was really amazing.
Oh.
What? I had it. Did I not? Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to show you. Hold on. And Rick's had a pyramid. Do you see this?
Yeah.
A pyramid. And
even that bar of light on the top.
Interesting enough that he really didn't like Egypt. He had a big problem there. So where is Diana? Oh, man. I got to find that. So I'm going to find that while we're talking.
Yeah, she had 3 heads.
She had 3 defined heads. So I'm going to find that because I know where it is.
On that trip, Diana had interesting pictures because even during one of the meditations, when she was channeling Yogananda, I took a picture of her. And there was a lot of orange energy around her.
Oh, well, that was another story.
That was.
Um, okay. So hold on. I'm going to find that right now. Here.
Let me look at the chat. Let's see.
Oh, here it is. Okay. I don't know why I didn't have that one. I did have that one, but I just couldn't find it. Okay. I'm going to share the screen again. All right. Ready?
Yep.
There it is. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So see, she has 3 heads. 1, 2, 3. And if I could zoom it in, which for some reason I can't, I don't think. You can actually see the faces.
I see 4. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. Where?
4.
Here?
Kind
Here's
of
the
on the
one.
bottom. Yeah. No, kind of closer to her physical head.
Oh my gosh, this one's so. I don't know. I just looked away and then I looked back again. I was like, whoa. And then see right here, in these pictures, we keep seeing these little bit of blue something out there, which is interesting. But yeah, oh my gosh, this guy is very strong. Actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this guy is very strong. I can't. Okay.
And we spoke of karmic relationships on the other show, and I definitely have a karmic relationship with Diana.
Oh my gosh.
We were fellow star people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another way of seeing them. We didn't see them without the pictures, but boy, that was a party. Once we started getting those pictures, we were all taking these pictures and we were so excited. Every single picture had something in it. So those are those. Homer, did you want to add anything else?
Well, just different forms, because like what I said, it's not just people, but sometimes animals or even spores, alien spores that you would see physically with your
What's
eyes.
that?
They're just like earth spores. So, like a mushroom or flowers when they, I don't know what the term, but not sprout, but, when they spread out, they're spores. But I've seen a few non-earthly spores before.
Okay. How did you see them? And where did you see them?
In one of the hikes.
Oh.
Yeah. Because in the hikes, a lot of the places where we go hiking to, or anywhere in nature, you could really feel the different vibration. And you may see a lot, like fairies, gnomes, spores, animals, a lot of things.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Yes,
Well,
spores with consciousness.
were there any questions in the chat room?
I didn't go all the way to the top.
So I would just say that, these experiences are obviously open to everyone, because when those materializations happened with me, it wasn't like, I've been doing this for 20 years or something, and then it happened. It happened in my earlier phases. And, it really is important to know what your boundaries are and to check in with your own feelings as to if that's something you're interested in or not. I know I was looking at these skulls because I love crystal skulls. And I was going to get one that was the shape of an alien. It was really cool. The eyes were really cool and everything. I was like, okay, I think I'm going to get that. And then I looked at it and I was feeling the energy of it. And I was like, oh, no, I can't have that in my house. And it was unfortunate because I really liked the skull, but the energy that was coming through with it, no way. And I had a big collection of skulls, and I actually got rid of almost all of them because I was feeling that all of these like energies in my space, and it just didn't, I couldn't like feel like me. There was just too many other energies in my space. So it just didn't feel right. And so unfortunately, because I only had very cool skulls, I, got rid of a lot of them. And the only ones that stayed with me were the ones that I couldn't get rid of. So I guess they were meant to stay with me. So yeah, you really don't just go get a crystal skull because you think, oh,
I have
this
one
is
right here.
cool. Like you really need to know the energy that's coming through, because even crystals, like if something doesn't feel right, or it isn't resonating the way that you'd like it to, then you shouldn't keep those things around, because that's going to affect your direct vibrational essence, because it's in your space. Homer, here's a question for you. Do you know what type of aliens that have gold eyes, they would turn cat-like in the sunlight?
So do you mean a humanoid or what kind? I
An
mean,
alien.
there are many like that. I mean, I do know there are gold ones with gold eyes and everything. In terms of turning cat-like in the sunlight, oh, that could be so many. I mean, do you want a race name? Is that what you're asking? Or do I know them? I do know them.
She asked what type of
Oh, what type?
aliens have gold eyes.
Well, there are humanoids like that as well that have gold eyes. And let's see, do they turn cat-like in the sunlight? I don't know. I never bothered to observe that. But next time I will. Is this something that you experience yourself, Sansi?
You know what? If you can think it, then it is.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't say yes or no. If you're thinking it, then the answer has to be yes, because you're thinking it and it's existing through your thought.
Yeah, and you probably remembered it somewhere in another timeline.
Okay. She also said, I'm interested in them, but got a creeping feeling from my old coworker. So is part of the reason I moved out of state. It just freaked me out.
Wow.
Well, you can move, but they can move with you.
Yeah.
An alien that was in my department at work had gold eyes. The lady being able to access dimensional information and healing from her coding.
The lady.
I think she's talking about your client.
Oh, okay.
Homer lives in a world of light and what he wants to perceive. Thank you, Cindy. Love you, Homer. We can all perceive whatever we want, but we still need to be open to things that could be possibly happening to people.
Yeah.
Erica said, I could definitely use those wings. Just think about how much I could get done.
You can use your wings of light.
Yeah.
And you can get things done just by thinking of it.
Delia says, yep, the info coming in, fear base is low vibe. It's like poop in the hands. No. Ew, that's like ayahuasca.
I know, I was thinking that.
Okay, so we're going to go into doing some mini light activation healings readings, and the focus is a galactic message for you. So make sure you put in the chat room, I'm all in, if you'd like a chance to be selected. We will go to where we're feeling guided. At the time, I would like to say, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment. All those things really help us. So help us, help you. And make sure you're saying I'm all in. And then we will give you galactic message, especially for you. Okay, Homer.
Sansi said yes, and she said no. I didn't
Yes
know.
or no? Well, that is yes and no.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna
And if
go.
you said I'm all in the beginning, make sure you say it later too, because we want to make sure you didn't leave. And then, I don't want to pick someone way at the top, because if you left, then you won't even hear it. And then the people here don't get to hear theirs because you said it and left. And then we did yours.
And hello to everyone who said hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Don't know. I don't want him to move with me. Oh.
Oh, that's
Well,
what you meant.
I'm just saying, like, you can't, if you leave, something can just go with you. Like, that doesn't solve anything usually. I mean, it could, but it's like you can run, but you can't hide. All right. Homer, do you want to pick someone who said I'm all in?
Ooh, okay. How about Joanna Martinez?
Okay. Johanna?
Oh, is it Johanna?
You
Johanna.
always say that every time. Well, that's what it looks like to me.
Johanna, right? Okay.
I think Joanna would be without an H. All right, Johanna, we're going to give you a galactic message.
Johanna.
So just breathe, first of all, because I feel a tightness, like, ugh. Breathe.
No, I can feel it.
Breathe.
Quality breathing.
Breath. And release. And we're going to start sending in frequency. Boy, I feel a lot of tightness up. Cindy and cousin. Oh, Martina's name? That's hilarious.
I am related to the Martinez family.
Okay.
But there's a lot of Martinez's around the world.
Okay, so this is a message I'm getting for you. Your galactic message is open your eyes to more dimensions and expansion around you. They're showing me like blinders where you're just seeing normally, and your galactic message is to open to the stars, open to the brightness of the light beings that are available to help you and be with you. And they're showing me you do have a connection, and I'm hearing it's to the Pleiades. And what do they call them? The Sisters of Light or something like that?
Yeah, the 9 sisters.
Oh, 9? I knew it was some amount of sisters.
Something like that. Yeah.
I thought it was 7, but
could be. I don't know.
I don't get that technical. But I'm hearing like you have a sister connection to the sisters of those, how many sisters there are. And so open your eyes to it, expand your awareness to it, and connect with it. And so what I'm seeing is, a good way to start doing that is just to breathe, because you got a lot of tenseness going up into your body. But get outside. The 7 sisters. Thank you, Delia. I thought it was 7.
Oh, maybe I counted the parents too. That's why.
Good one, Homer. Yeah, so connect with the stars at night. That's a good way to start doing that. Look for them in the stars. I love doing that. Well, where I was living across the street from the beach a few years ago, it was so dark out there, but every night I could see the different star systems as they came around. And it was just amazing to see Orion. When I'd see Orion, it would be like a big celebration for me. But I'd see all kinds of different of the star systems, and it was amazing. So start doing that, because that will help you get start connecting with them. Homer?
So I was getting the same thing, Johanna, in the beginning. So that anxiety, and then the message I was hearing is nothing. What was that? All is not the end. Something about there is no end. It keeps going. Nothing I don't know. I was just getting something like that. There is no end. Things keep going. Energy never dies. It keeps going. Um,
Eternal.
eternal. Yeah. Because I was seeing, in some lifetimes, maybe your world was destroyed. So that anxiety carried on. But just know all is not the end. It keeps going. It's eternal. Um, but in terms of galactic message, and it's funny that Cindy mentioned the Pleiades because I was getting a Pleiadian race. Not to say that you are this race, but see, when I get my messages, my star people, my healing team, they give me images that help me um, with the message for me to convey. So I got a race called the Xylac, and they are native to the Pleiades star system, and they are known to never leave their star system, let alone their home planet. So they like to keep things the same and not move. So, or move out or venture out. So the message I was getting for you was similar to that, is to, because there's like a stagnation there. So try doing things that are different. If you usually drive down the street and you take a right, try taking the left. Or if there's a shampoo that you always get, like herbal essence, well, try Purell or whatever.
That's not a hair.
No, it's not. Oh, well, something. But it's something like that. Like just bring in spice to your life. Like do things um, just different. That will kind of shift that stagnation and just um, have things moving and flowing by doing things different.
Yes. And that also
Um,
goes with, expanding your awareness and your consciousness.
yeah. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that helped, Johanna.
And don't use Purell for shampoo.
Yes, that's hand sanitizer. I don't know. They might make it a
Oh, is it?
shampoo, but I thought it was just hand sanitizer.
Could
Don't
be.
listen to home
Yeah. Yeah.
brand names.
But
He
herbal
won't.
essence is really good.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna select Delia so Homer doesn't have to.
Yay.
And
Okay. Welcome, sorry, sister.
all right, so just relax, and we're gonna give you a galactic message for you. So we're sending in the frequency. And the first thing I hear really strongly is welcome home, but I'm feeling it right up in the frontal lobe area, not in the third eye so much, but in the head space. What I'm hearing is to work to get out, not work, but get out of your head space and get more into the third eye. So get into the energetic field to connect and perceive and connect with them. Because that heaviness that I feel in the frontal lobe, it's like it'll get you there, but your human side, your brain, your ego side is not letting you expand into the energies as far as you can. So jump into your third eye and go for travels through your third eye. Make sure you're in the energy. So a good way to, decipher where you are, because the third eye does go through that area of your head, but get out of the head, get into the energy. So, right, it goes through your head and then it opens up the further it gets in front of you. So this whole area here out in the space, put your sight through there and travel. So that way you get out of your head and that you can expand into higher knowledge and perceptions. Homer?
I was getting the same thing because I was going to say the same thing really about, you know, um, so when we meditate, for example, we can move our consciousness to, let's wherever you want. Like if I want to be 5 feet above my head, I can just think that and know that I'm there. So I can go anywhere um, that I want to, and so can you. So Delia, that's what Cindy said was perfect, because this is where you can see a lot of magic. All you have to do is really put your consciousness in these, because I feel yourself exploring a lot. So you can do that. You can go to all these worlds. And I was seeing a lot of the worlds that you travel to involve dragons. So go there and visit your dragons. And you do have a true dragon that works with you. Find your true dragon. And it's a cool thing.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Delia. Okay,
Thank you,
Homer, do you
Delia.
want to choose someone?
Let's
I'm
see.
all in.
I will go to, let's see. I'm trying to go up and
Don't go all the way up to the top because those people might have left.
oh, okay.
That's why I said, if you said I'm all in early, say it again now, because we want to give these readings to people who actually stayed and are here and present. So if you don't say I'm all in now, we're going to miss you.
Yeah, because I think I picked someone the other day and she had a beautiful long name, but I don't think she was there.
Right?
Yeah, and I wanted to have her hear me pronounce her name. But because I was surprised too. I must have been channeling.
You did so good with that name.
I still remember that name. You could write a song.
What is it?
Puleng Nanos Sonokoane.
I can't believe you can remember it.
Because it was
Oh my
stuck in my
gosh.
head all
You've
evening.
probably been thinking about
I know.
it since
I'm
Tuesday.
like, it was in my head, and I'm thinking, you know what? I hope I'm not courting her. Let me cut the cord because
Oh my God. You're like, I'm thinking of that name again.
I know, serious.
That's hilarious.
But how about Wild Maggie?
Okay. You haven't seen Wild Maggie for a while.
Yeah.
All righty. That is hilarious that you remember that name. Okay.
It was like a song in my head that couldn't go away.
I couldn't even remember the first name. Geez, and you got the whole thing going on. That's hilarious. Okay. Wild Maggie, you know the drill. Relax, take a nice deep breath. This is a galactic message, especially for you. Wow. So they're saying clear out the control issues, and they went straight into your gut and into your third chakra, which is your personal power. They're saying you holding yourself back by limiting beliefs. They're saying there is so much to this existence, into multi-universe, like into infinity, that you miss out by trying to make it all make sense. Like, it doesn't have to make sense. You don't even have to, like, you might want to make sense. And as humans, usually we do. But, you know, like I said earlier today, I don't know if you were here, but I was saying that, you know what, you don't have to decide if it's true or not to begin with. And you can just say, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to sit with it and see what comes through. Be open to being open, because you can experience so much more and you could have so much more. And then I see the word abundance, like it's even holding back your abundance. Those anything limiting or lacking will hold back any abundance. So how you do one thing is how it affects everything. So they keep showing me abundance. They keep showing me that there's abundance for you, but you've got to open yourself up to things that you may not see, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. But just being more open in general and realizing where your lack beliefs are, and working to really change those into higher perceptions. This is an abundant universe. I can tell you that 100%. Because what's in the universe, Homer?
Everything.
Everything. So if everything is in the universe, it has to be abundant.
Yep.
It's all there. Any thought that anybody's ever had is there. So
it's all expansion.
Make sure your thoughts are good thoughts, so that can be there for you. Don't be in the lack. Don't be in the lower energy. Don't be in the fear, the worry, the what's not working. Stop telling those stories. Change your stories to ones that are beautiful and uplifting and abundant and expansive, and live in that dimension, and you can have a lot more. Homer?
I totally agree, Wild Maggie. So the message I was hearing was, don't let your emotions overwhelm you, because sometimes it can go into the worry or the anxiety or the fear. And since this is a galactic message, I'm going to go out there. And this is something you could just visualize, because, once you think it, you can create it. So some of the beings I like to work with, and Cindy, you know them, the Bastalowalian. So a Bastalowalian is about, well, they range in size, but they can be this big, and they're furry. So they look like a furry little guinea pig. So the thing is, the Bastalowalian knows how to gauge your emotions. So they can tell whether you're leaning towards the positive emotion or to the lower emotions, like fear, anxiety, and everything. So if you are in higher emotions, like being calm, being at peace, like that, you could hold a Bastalowalian in your hand and it won't bite you. But if you do have like lower vibrational thoughts or emotions and you're holding one, it will bite you. So they are very cute little beings, but half of their body is made up of teeth. So for me, these are good little beings that help with gauging on where you're at emotionally. And, again, if you start to lean toward the lower vibrations or emotions, just do your best to shift it the best that you can. And yes, Suzette, the Bastalowalians are very cute. I wish
They're
we
very
had them
cute
here.
until they bite you.
Until they bite you. That's why you got to have high emotions if you don't want to be bitten.
Yep. Okay.
And I love guinea pigs too, because they remind me of guinea pigs.
Oh my goodness.
Furry guinea pigs.
Homer has a connection with guinea pigs.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I am going to choose Erica. All righty. Cisneros. Erica. All righty. So, Erica, you know the drill. We are going to, you just relax, and we're going to send in frequency and share some galactic messages with you. So the first thing they're calling you is bright eyes. And then they laughed and they said bushy-tailed. So that is kind of funny. It's almost like they show me a fox tail.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
You have a connection with fox. But they just keep showing me these bright eyes and saying, you know what? The world is full of wonder. And all that wonder that you've, kind of stuffed away, bring it back. Bring it back out, because you are a magical being and you are here to glitter and shine. And I'm getting chills. They want you to take your place in life. Take your place in life. Stand up for yourself, within yourself, be yourself, be yourself. They're saying be yourself 100%. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it, because you can only be you. And so if you're going to be you, might as well be the best you. Not all, it doesn't, even if people gave you a hard time or anything, what really matters is, as long as you're you, you are going to benefit from that. The more you're not you, the less you're going to benefit from it. So if you want to benefit in your life and really change and shift things, be yourself 100%. Be open to it. Like, they just keep showing me these eyes full of wonder. And they said, you have the wonder in you. You have the glitter within you. You have like the magic within you. And you can connect to these realms of magic and upliftment, enlightenment, shining, all of those things. So be 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 excited about being yourself. And they added for once. So I will add that for once. Homer?
Yep, similar messages for you, Erica. Bring back the adventure. What I was feeling and the message I was getting was you've been heavy and also sad. There's like a sadness within you. Um, but really find that magic again, because once you tap into that magic, wow. I mean, when I go in there, I get so happy because there's no, it's all about magic. There's no limitations. And I didn't even want to use the word limitation. It's all expansion. And yeah, exactly. Be your unique self, embrace your uniqueness. And it's funny that Cindy mentioned, you mentioned the
The
fox, right?
fox.
And bushy tail, because I was getting these fox being races. Um, Not to say that you are one, but you can be one. So, because they do exist. So if it resonates with you, you can be a Nephiloc. They look like a fox, but like a fox humanoid.
So you're suggesting she shapeshift into a fox alien?
She can, because you know what? They're so,
If you want to.
I mean, they're so adventurous, and they're so adventurous. Or you
Well, it
could,
can be her like totem animal or whatever,
true. And if you like the color, well, the Nephiloc are tan, but if you like brown, you could go with the Nephiche. Same thing, but they're brown. Or if you like blue,
Or you could just be yourself and
true.
call on them to support you if they have a lot of wonder and magic with them.
Yeah, they're like because they remind me of like Robin Hood, how they're going out and just going out into adventure. So they're kind of like that. I mean, they are cute, but they are great warriors in a good way. And yeah, there are many colors of them, and there is a blue one that I really love, and they're called the Nefahanda Ale. Very cool.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
find that adventure and embrace your uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica. Okay, Homer, you want to pick someone that says I'm all in? If you want one, make sure you type in the chat I'm all in so we know.
All right. How about
even if you typed it in before.
oh yeah, and Erica, even though I cut the cord, but yeah, the connection to animals is very strong. Okay, I just had to add that. But I will call upon Karen Connolly.
Okay. Here we go, Karen. All you have to do is relax, breathe, and we are going to share galactic messages with you. So we're sending in the frequency. So the first thing I'm hearing is hard-headed. And then I feel a kind of a tense energy going down your neck area. And then I hear making things harder on yourself than you have to. And then I hear breathe in the magic. Like breathe in the magic, breathe in the possibilities, explore the possibilities, bring the magic. Like they're showing me stars in your eyes, like bring the magic back into your existence, into your life. Like feel lighter, be lighter, dream lighter, expand lighter, like get to a lighter place of being. And the way to lighten yourself up is to be open to just like Erica's, like be open to the wonder. Like, wow, if there is everything in this universe, I have access to everything. I have the access to it. So you want to make sure that you're not focusing on a limitation or something that feels closed or something that feels off. You want to instead, if you're feeling those things, like we're humans and we do have these thoughts, you have to just catch yourself doing it and say, how can I perceive this in a better way? And then start focusing on that. That's why I go through my whole thing in the morning. My whole morning is full of positive thinking and connection to source. I wake up in the morning saying, thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate. And, you know, when you use the words thank you and appreciate, it's so much higher vibing than even gratitude. Because usually gratitude's laced with something like, oh, thank God I got past that and I got this. So it's usually connected to some difficulty. So when you're in appreciation and thanking, you're like open. And when you're in that sort of mode, like just being appreciative and thankful for so much, and doing that for a good, 10 minutes. Like I do that all through my shower, and then I get out and then I read my devotional, which is very short because, I have a lot of things to do. But I have my process that I make sure I start my day in this way, because then that sets my day up to be in that dimension, rather than getting on with my day and then trying to do it during the day. It doesn't work that easy that way. But if I set my day up like that, for like the first 45 minutes of my day, I'm doing my little ritual type of thing. And I'm doing it when I'm getting ready. So it's not like I'm sitting there, like, no, I'm not doing that. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I get up, I got a lot to do. So while I'm doing my morning getting ready and all of that, totally getting into that mode. Go outside, breathe fresh air, be grateful for the air, for the sky, for the clean air. And like, I just really do all of these things to set up my day. So when I get into my day, I'm already on the vibe that I need to be on. So what I'm hearing is just open, open, open. Anything that's limited or lack filled really needs to be sent to the light for transmutation, and then just reset yourself. Homer?
Okay, Karen, and I don't know if you guys know. Do you guys know what a cattail is? It's
That
kind of
plant?
like, yeah, that you would find in like, would that be a swamp? Not a swamp, but well, it's like what you would see in water, that thing. So what I was seeing was like an image of it, um, because it does go with the wind. So it's kind of like, so it's something, Karen, that you would find like in water,
It's
like,
like a weed or a
yeah,
plant.
kind of like a, yeah, like a,
Imagine a cattail that was a plant. I'm
yeah,
sure
it's
you've
kind of like
seen
this.
one.
And then, but yeah, and then the wind would, so what I was seeing was like the wind pushing it down, but then they're showing me a heaviness. So I was hearing you've been through a journey and the heaviness keeps you down. But the message I was getting for you is, go with the wind, and because the cattail um, will flow where the wind is, and go and be okay with whatever direction it is, because it will sway this way, it will sway that way, but also don't, like, whatever direction it goes, don't like be so heavy on yourself, like hard on yourself, like, oh, it's not moving, it's still here. Just know it'll flow this way as well. So think of the cattail. That was what I was seeing. And also, since we are making this a galactic message, we do have cattails out there in space, in other worlds. And my people, we call it the Narish Fuva.
All right. Homer's giving up the names today.
So go with the wind and flow. Feel the air, like what you were saying, Cindy. Like, feel the air. Just
Yeah, just
go
be
with it.
grateful for everything. And if you don't feel magical, you need to get outside and breathe in the magic and breathe out the magic. Like you have to get yourself into that. It can't just come in. You got to do the work to get yourself into that. And
Yeah.
it's so worth it. I know it's hard at first, but it's so worth it. And I know that if I didn't do my daily, I call it a ritual, but it's not like I sit around and have a ritual. I just have an order of how I do things. And I'm doing it from the time I wake up to the time I take my shower. And when I'm getting dressed, I'm doing it all the way along till when I go in the kitchen to take my vitamins in the morning. I do that. And then I open my back door and I do that. And then I get my coffee and I do that. And then I go work. And so that's what just keeps me on the vibe that I need to be on. And it's so worth getting into a dedicated practice like that for everyone. I'm not just saying this for Karen, it's for everyone. it's puts your whole day into a whole different dynamic. It's so worth it, because you will never catch up with yourself once you let your day start getting away with you. You know, we got so much to do. You got to be in that alignment, and then get in that alignment and stay in that alignment.
Yeah. And I
That's
do want to add, and it's not just for Karen, but for everyone else too, that lightness, like really feel that lightness. Because I mean, I sense some heaviness today. So it's like, okay, shift it to the lightness.
right.
Mhm.
And then, you know, going back to the topic of connecting with the galactic realm, they're a very high vibrating realm. So if you want to connect with them, you need to lighten up to be able to connect in with that energy.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you might connect in with the energy, but it's going to be the one with the lower vibration. Not sure you want to do that.
And it's so magical out there in the higher vibration, in the light vibration.
Right. So I'm just feeling guided to mention again, you guys are going to hear it. Sorry. Not sorry. Sedona, we're doing Sedona in April. And if you want to start lightening up your energy and really having some practices with us and some connections with the galactic, come with us, because it will be life-changing for you just to go through the experience and get connected with those vibrations. And you know, that's how you transform and then continue to create a better and better life. So it's going to be a small group. If you're interested, make sure you contact one of us, and we can talk about it. And again, that's at the end of April, right, Homer?
Yes, end of April. Like not the very last week, but I think the week before that. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's only a 3-day thing. So and then of course we're doing Peru and Bolivia in August. That will be very magical and full of ceremony. So if you really want to shift your life, you really want to be on that one, because ceremony after ceremony after ceremony in very high vibrational places, in the Andes, in the Amazon,
And very galactic.
Picchu, in the salt flats of Bolivia that looks like heaven. You want to be there. If you want a huge shift in your life, if you want to better your life very quickly, you want to be there. All right. And some people will be doing ayahuasca on that trip as well. I will not, but there will be people doing ayahuasca. So if that's something you're interested in, you can also bet on that happening if you come with us. It's on my website. Go check it out. Okay. So Homer, what's up for next Tuesday?
Oh, so next Tuesday we have exit points.
Okay. And I was thinking of some other topics as well, as that are coming to me, that had been coming to me, about telling your story, like telling your story and how it's helping you or hindering you. Because boy, I see people telling these stories and say, well, what, like, do they not know what they're doing? Oh my goodness. So that one would be so helpful to so many people, because I feel like so many people are so unaware of what they talk about, how they keep dwelling on the past and their story, and it's not usually the good story. Come on, tell your good stories. If you're going to tell a story, tell your good stories. Stop telling these sad, traumatic stories. Now, if you need to do that, you might need some counseling or some healing. I'm not saying don't talk about your stuff if you need to, but you need to get to a point where you start getting some resolution with those things so you can stop being hindered by them. Really, it's not helping you. So we will talk about that at some point. I'm trying to think of a title. So please remember to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Even if you don't watch this on YouTube, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And yeah, we will see you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Do we know what we're doing next Friday, Homer? Did we decide?
Ascension.
Oh, are you
Ascension.
serious?
Ascension.
Wow, that's a big deal because that's some real current channeling information. I will see if we're doing that.
Yeah.
I will see. Okay, well, anything else you want to say, Homer?
No, I just have to laugh at Sansi's comment because I didn't know what it was referring to. She put, "They are long and brown, looks like a big hot dog." I'm like, what?
Whoa.
So I figured, oh, that has to do with the cattail comment. Yeah, I made it took me a while to make that connection.
Ew, I saw somebody that is plant-based and they were talking about their hot dog and it was a
Tofu.
carrot in a hot dog bun. And I'm like, no. Okay. I don't eat meat, but that ain't gonna cut it. That is not anything that I would say, oh yeah, I can pretend this is a hot dog. Well, hot dickety dog to that. I'll tell you that. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. And we will see you on Tuesday with exit points. And if you don't know what that is, we all have choices of when we're leaving and how we're going to leave and why we're going to leave. I'm talking about out of the physical into the spirit. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday. So thanks for being here. And we love you.
Thank you. And if we didn't call on you, it doesn't mean you didn't receive a healing. Everyone did.
Yep.
Tonight.
Whether you're here live or not as well.
Yep.
Oh no, don't eat that Beyond Meat sausage. All of those fake meats are so chemical based gross.
Yeah, I think I tried one before.
I don't recommend it. All right. Lots of love. Peace.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.